The reason the stream title is so vague is because I have multiple things I want to cover, and all of them could have fit in the title, but they were all, like, small enough that they didn't deserve the title. So, today's gonna be a bit eclectic. Anyway, I'll see you in a few more minutes. Around the world, around the world, around the world, around the world. Autistic yapping, more like artistic rapping. I can workshop that. Alright. Sorry, just had to... Hold on. 1 second. While I was grabbing a thing, my monitor fell. Hold on, gotta fix the monitor. I didn't even realize that it fell. This is what happens when you take a last second and, falls apart. Okay. I think that works. Oh, that is the wrong angle. We're starting off strong, everybody. Well, I hope it stays up for the stream. I'll fix it later properly. This is what I get for being around the world. Man. Okay, so I have been told that I have bad taste. And you know what? For a long time, I agreed. But today I'm defending it.
That just about all characters in Hell and Has Been Hotel are LGBT? What did Vivzie Pop mean by this?
I could make so many comments and jokes, but I'm going to hold off on that particular one because that one is one that will actually cause me problems. All right. So, I was sitting down and I was examining, okay, do I really have bad taste? Because I don't think so. And then I looked at all the characters that I find interesting or attractive, and I was like, okay, well, what's the running theme amongst them? And there seems to be a healthy mix of different traits, attractive and none. It's just like, okay, well, what do I find attractive about these characters? Sometimes it's the physicality, sometimes it's the personality. Then I sat a little longer with it, and I'm like, okay, if I split all the characters I find attractive into two groups, you've got the dangerous ones and the safe ones. Now, the appeal of the dangerous and the safe ones are vastly different. But it made me realize that there is actually probably more to why people find Tumblr sexy men, specifically, attractive. And it's partially because their unconventionality at times is considered not unique, but hold on. Let me grab you two examples. I will grab one of the most recent Tumblr sexy men to pop into frame, and I'm going to grab somebody that is traditionally masculine. Well, visibly, anyway. So we're going to get a visible Tumblr sexy man, and we're going to get a visible masculine man. And I'm going to break down what I'm going to be calling the short-term appeal and the long-term appeal of a person. And my personal theory as to why a lot of women gravitate towards bad boys or toxic guys. And again, like, this is not like proper psychology. This is all theoretical. Okay, so we got Laios here. This is the example of somebody that would be traditionally be considered attractive. Like, this is a masculine, attractive man for a typical woman. A typical woman would look at somebody like this, maybe not in full body armor, but like just dressed however, and think immediately off the bat, that is something I would find attractive. Of course, there's variations amongst people, but this is like, I'm stereotyping here, okay? So, he has what I call visible short-term appeal. And personality-wise, he is what I call long-term appeal. Now, on the opposite side of things, we've got a Tumblr sexy man. This one I'm using the humanized version of Alistair. Now, he has what I call long-term physical appeal and short-term emotional appeal. Now, why is this long-term physical appeal and why is this short-term physical appeal? It's because this is a different kind of attractive, but in most spaces, this kind of man is considered less physically attractive than this man. And there's reasons why. At least I think so. I think that it's kind of how we're hardwired as humans. We look at masculine men as long-term, as opposed to feminine men, which we see as short-term, emotionally. Because masculine men were, kind of the hunter-gatherer, protector type beat. A gut instinct for a stereotypical woman would be to look at somebody who's physically masculine and be attracted to them on like a base level. This is somebody that when war comes to our door, he will protect, right? So he has that short-term immediate appeal. However, the short-term personality that typically comes with a masculine male is often immediate and aggressive. Typically, masculine men, unlike Laios here, have a specific kind of attitude that in the long run doesn't have staying power. And so,
wow, Alastair is even less interesting now.
Thank you, Red Hair Cross. So think of a jock in any high school teen movie from the 2000s. They were considered the strong masculine, but they also had the strong masculine aggressive personality. So short term, you're looking for protection. Short term, you're looking for strength. But long term, that doesn't have staying power. So the best of both worlds in this instance would be to have somebody that has more, not a feminine personality, but more of a contained long-term personality that isn't stereotypically masculine in the sense of the immediate aggression, but toned down. So someone like Laios here would have the best of both worlds because he's got the short-term, immediate masculine visual presence, but he's got that long-term charming personality. So this is something that a lot of women will gravitate towards. Now, why is Alistair here also considered attractive to a lot of people, even though he is genuinely the exact opposite? He does not have the immediate theoretical masculine physical appeal. He has more of a feminine visual. Feminine visual typically is more associated with somebody that is not conventionally attractive, and non-conventionally attractive people in this sense for guys have a bit of a harder time picking up and putting down relationships, people, places, whatnot, and so they have to lean more on their personality and their social development. So when women are looking for excitement in first world countries, they go for bad boys, and when they want to settle down, they look for softer, maybe less stereotypically attractive, effeminate men because they're stable. They're also usually emotionally more balanced. So you see, a softer looking guy, or you see a more weaselly looking guy, you see a guy that you don't think is as attractive as the first one, and your mind defaults to, he's probably going to be smarter, wiser, he's going to be gentler. Now, why the Tumblr sexy man is attractive is because he has the short-term aggressive personality, but the long-term attractive visual, whereas Laios here has the long-term attractive personality and the short-term attractive immediate body, right? So people that want excitement, they want aggression, they want surprises, will go for the more aggressive, scary guy. But they're drawn in by the potential, the romanticization of the long-term visual. Anyway, that's my theory. It's not one-to-one. It's similar to how some guys like Yandere's and Crazy Woman. So, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. And another thing that spurred that around was I saw a article in Psychology Today. Yes, make fun of me. I read Psychology Today, the webpage. So sue me. Now, it's an article from 2013, but it says the allure of aggressive men. And it was like, okay, well, what did the psychiatrists say about women falling for toxic guys? And it kind of solidified my theory in a way. Now, I'm no expert, and I don't trust these experts as far as I can throw them, because all of their theories are churned through mills, and people are incentivized to say whatever for a buck. But I'd like to think that there's some merit to this. Like, the article literally opens with, it's a question often asks when a man mistreats a woman, what does she see in him? Now, we have to remember that sometimes when people go into abusive relationships or they go for overly aggressive guys, it's also conditioning socially. Sometimes there's situations where they grew up without strong male figures in their life, so they're looking for something to fill that void, or they had overly aggressive male figures in their life, so that's what they expect out of their future. So they gravitate towards it. People go for all sorts of things for all sorts of reasons. But I was more so trying to figure out why exactly I find something attractive, right? Because I find all manner of guys attractive. Like, I don't have, like, one specific type. So I was trying to nail down why I find some things. And in doing that, I feel like I kind of cracked the Tumblr sexy min code a little bit. Aggressive does not equal toxic. No, not always. Not always. This is more just along the baseline of they tend to gravitate towards aggressive, and toxic tends to be aggressive. It's not the rule, but you're more likely to find that. LOL, you read an article? Well, yeah, after I came up with my idea. Anyway, but here it says, generally speaking, women must choose between two types of men, dads and cads. On one hand, dads are typically more commitment-oriented, warm, faithful, and reliable. Yet they are usually less handsome, charismatic, and dominant than cads. On the other hand, cads are sexier, but they tend to be flashive and exploitative. And they typically embody the dark triad of Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism. Now, would I go as far as to say that that is 100% true? Not in the fucking slightest. Because let's be entirely real, people change throughout their lives. Somebody that could be conventionally unattractive at one stage of their life could become incredibly attractive later on, and vice versa. It's less to do with personality and more about you get what you put into yourself. I'd say it's about min-maxing the traits that you do have and recognizing your balance of short-term and long-term appeal, both physically and emotionally.
A VTuber that likes men? Wow, we hit the jackpot.
Is it one of those psychology sites? Yeah, I closed the article. We're not going any further into that. It was more so interesting that of course I'm not the only one who has thought of this, but like after I thought of it, I popped it into Bing and immediately got stuff popping up, you know? Be careful who you call ugly in middle school. Yeah. But I would say Tumblr guys are more like, they're not conventionally overtly sexy, but their attitude and their min-maxing allows for heavy romanticization, and to a degree almost fetishization of who they are as people / characters, because they don't have the baseline immediate sex appeal that draws people in. That's why a lot of them typically are dressed really well. Like, Tumblr Sexy Man is, like, the funny joke is that they're always wearing a suit, and they've always got really well done hair, but they're just not, like, super attractive people. And I would say that's actually probably part of it, because if you're well dressed, if you are well done up, that informs a person about your personality. And again, that's like a long-term appeal personality trait, is to be well groomed, is to take care of yourself. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. If a 10 out of 10 smoke show bombshell woman was locked in a room with you... Oh.
I thought Boss was more into fandom. Or was it femdom? I can't remember. Those giant tears are distracting.
You're disgusting. Anyway. So if you had a 10 out of 10 woman stuck in a room with you and another guy, and she had a gun, and the only way for her to escape and to see her family was to kill one of the two of you, and both of you were 2 out of 10. Like, both of you were genuinely just not attractive in the slightest. She did not like the way either of you looked. She rates you both the very bottom of the ladder. And she has to kill one of you. She is going to kill the one that smells. Doesn't matter if you're objectively both physically, like, identical. If one of you has a smell and makes a bad noise, she will choose that one. Whereas she will probably spare the one that is polite, docile, and dressed really well and is hygienic. So, you would probably, be able to escape. It's not about well, of course, everybody, is affected by their starting line, but more importantly, it's about what you do with your starting line, because you can always get a leg up on your current situation, purely with attitude, purely with behavior. Is life unfair with how it deals out cards? All the time. But I'd say the existence of, like, the really stereotypical, ugly Tumblr Sexy Man proves.
The only thing about Tumblr Sexy Men I know about is people shipping the Onceler with himself.
Ha! So, BBC Sherlock is an example of somebody that I consider a really ugly Tumblr Sexy Man. Like, no offense to the actor, a very accredited, very skilled guy. I just think he's hideous, physically. But women, teenagers, people were just drooling over the guy. Like, they thought he was the second coming of sex itself. And it absolutely wasn't because he was the most attractive guy in the world. I genuinely think is it David Cumberbatch? Hold on. Yeah, I think he looks like a fucking alien. I think he's the most hideous guy I've ever seen. Which sounds really harsh, because it is. Hold on, let me... I'll show you what I mean, okay? This had teenage girls going crazy on Tumblr. He was one of the OG... Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch, yes, sorry. He still showed up when I typed the name in. The reason a lot of people really liked him...
BBC Sherlock? They race swapped another character?
That's crazy, Heracross. What? Anyway, like, he looks like a fucking alien. Which is bullying, but that's fine. That's fine. This is the internet. We can bully each other. We're all public figures here. That's what we all signed up for. However, during his run of Sherlock, he was one of the most, like, adored characters on the internet. He had, like, fandoms, he had fan art, he had a woman genuinely so physically attracted to him. And it was entirely because the character he played had that kind of long-term personality. And he also dressed really sharp. And he had a lot of wit. And even though he didn't, you know, look stereotypical, he didn't look very handsome by any stretch of the imagination or metric, he styled himself in a very handsome way, and he carried himself very sturdily. And that almost was like a fake it till you make it handsomeness. And he became the blueprint for a Tumblr sexy man. So it doesn't matter what you look like, so long as you dress sharp, you act the right way. Wasn't Sherlock in PJs half the time in the show? Yeah, but you wouldn't know that if you went on Tumblr. Like, genuinely, like, the attraction was in his outer suits and his outwear and his attitude. Like, all the fan art, all the gifs, everything were his formal attire. Also, he is 6 foot. Doesn't matter how tall you are if you're on a screen. Quite genuinely. If you're on a screen, everybody is the same goddamn height. Unless forcibly, you know, smooshed beside each other. I would say that height matters to people, but it's one of the more negligible things if you're a person of, how do I say this without sounding mean? If you are a person of quality, height will be one of the least important things you worry about when picking a person. Like, you can have preferences. You can appreciate somebody that's taller than you. Hell, you could find that very attractive. But if height is something that isn't like an absolute no for you, like if you see a woman is like a foot taller than you and that's a turnoff, or you see a man is a foot shorter than you and that's a big turnoff, then it was never going to work out regardless of whether they were short or tall. Right? Because you just do not have the personality that is conducive to a proper long-term relationship. You yourself do not have the ability trained within you to appreciate what makes something work. And again, like, this is all hypothetical, theoretical. Don't take my word as word of law. This is just my observations based on what I see happen in the life around me, you know? I watch relationships rise and fall all the time. And the ones that tend to work out are the ones where the couple is attracted to each other, but the attraction is not the end-all be-all. Maybe there was an initial attraction physically, but more so than the physical, there was an emotional connection. There was not a mental clarity, but what's it called? What's it called when there's like cohesion? Cohesion politically and socially? Like, again, that's why a lot of women do end up going with men that are, you know, often not seen as being, you know, on the same physical attractive level. Maybe some might argue that less men care about their appearance, which, you know, can be true. But I would say it's more often than not because emotionally the two of them are on the same level. Now, always exceptions to the rule. Sometimes there's a hideous fucking guy or a nasty, ugly, hideous woman who also have, you know, a really bad personality, but the other person's just desperate. But I'm not talking about the exceptions to the rule here. I'm talking about the typical. Call that chemistry? I think that's called love. No. I would say love is more of a complex thing than being boiled down to personality cohesion. I would say love is more of like, I don't know, a physical emotional feeling. If that makes sense? Kind of like how rage is a physical emotional feeling. Like, you have, like, reasons to be angry, you have reasons to be enraged, but when you truly feel rage, you have that physical feeling, as well as the emotional reasoning behind why you feel that way. Like, I know when I'm really angry, my heart rate increases, I lose my rationality, I act a lot more on instinct. I would assume that feeling love is kind of the same way, because how historically everybody's always described it, you know. Love increases impulsivity. It affects your decisions. People say they feel heart racing and all that. I would say that maybe it's quite literally a physical reaction. That is what love is. I would say the best relationships I've seen are the ones that started with love that evolved into friendship and complacency. Not in like a negative, like, we fell out of love and now we're boring friends. More like, we started in love and now we're having a good time having adventures with each other without having to rely on emotional rushes every time we see each other. I see a lot of women that rely on the love part of a relationship, and when they no longer feel that chemical rush, they dip out because they feel like something's wrong. Right? Like, sometimes people, like, feel love their whole lives, but normal people, that's, like, not a long-lasting thing, right? I'm eating a cracker, by the way. It's a very good one. I see a lot of women. Yeah, you're right on, Leia. You're all right. I find the falling out of love statement to be a telling sign of people who view relationships as an emotion spike rather than any actual commitment. Absolutely. I think it's very sad, because I know people that see other people as emotional experiences, right? Like, I see people get into comfortable relationships and then get very dismissive and angry that they are comfortable, and they cheat on their partner, or they break up with their partner because they want to have more experiences because they're young. That's always disturbed me. If I were in a long-term relationship, I would want, you know, to hit complacency and then have those experiences with the person, right? Is that not the point of getting into the relationship in the first place? Not to increase the amount of people on your scorecard, but to increase the quality of the scorecard itself? I don't know. Maybe I'm just very naive. Maybe I'm naive because of inexperience.
A lot of women seeing yourself in the mirror multiple times a day doesn't count, and I fear.
Red hair cross. Have you ever considered cutting off your dick and selling it? I hear that they pay by the inch these days. You'd make at least $2. Lust and love are completely different from each other. I mean, yeah, but like, even then, I still think love is a physical reaction and lust is a different physical reaction. Love is still emotional as well as being physical, right? But lust is just pure physical and pure sexual. Lust is like entirely sexual. Although, maybe part of the problem is people conflate the two. Maybe people mistake lust for love. And so when they get used to something, it's no longer sexual or enticing in that way, they think love is dead. Greetings, Lady Katya. Greetings, Lawrence Whitfield.
That's still more than a knife era can handle.
I was gonna say $1, but you're being generous. Now, Beavis, everybody knows that when you step inside the casino, you gain an inch. That's just a benefit of being a Sabletoon. Now. I guess that's why, like, people develop, like, into strange sexual habits. Oh. Just got a text. Do you think my career's over, guys? I'm getting yelled at for raiding the casino pantry. Look, the crackers are... I will not apologize for eating the casino crackers, okay? I'm very hungry. This diet sucks. Look, I only have like 3 of them, okay? I'm eating them very slowly. And they're very good crackers. Now get back to work tending the bar and stop bothering me via text. Anyway, I think that's why a lot of people develop sexual perversions. Not the bar crackers, by the way. But because they kind of... Oh.
The height obsession is emo manufactured by dating apps and boils down to number psychology. Like when something costs 4.99 instead of 5.00.
This is my first stream of yours I'm participating in. Don't get fired! Don't worry. They can't fire me. I quit. No, I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. Boss, I hope you're not watching. I'm not quitting. Anyway. No. No. Anyway, but before I was so rudely interrupted, I think maybe people conflating love and lust is part of a reason why a lot of relationships dissolve, and also conflating lack or comfort in a relationship and comfortability as opposed to the excitement of initial love sparks as a dead relationship is also another reason relationships die. But this is all coming from somebody who's got basically 0 experience. Now, question. If all you chase after is lust, then you kind of get, like, dead to it, right? You get used to it. You get used to the feeling of lust. You get used to normalcy. You probably start chasing more exciting things, right? That's probably why people develop stranger sexual proclivities the more that they pursue. Yeah? Like, think about it. How many things didn't exist before the internet? Let's be entirely honest here. People have always been kind of weird, freakish beings, but the internet has allowed for, like, the toaster fucking society to introduce themselves to, hold on, I gotta add a coin to the swear jar. I don't have a coin on hand. I'm gonna take a slip of paper and put it in the jar. Anyway. The Society of Toaster Romancers would have had severely
There are no researchers more disingenuous than social science researchers. Everything interaction I've had was bad for the soul. Spiteful PPL.
Social science researchers typically operate under the dollar, so to speak. Anything that they are trying to figure out is typically a study that's been paid for by people that either want something to be proven or something to be proven wrong, not for a truth to be discovered. There are, some things that are genuinely, this is the truth that has been discovered. But for social sciences, I err on the side of caution when it comes to company-funded research. Less attractive people are more likely to get into freaky stuff. I guess it's a way to compensate. Again, it's a personality-based thing, and it's a long-term thing. If you don't immediately have that kind of sexual appeal, you have less opportunities, and so you spend more time doing other things, seeing other things, going to other places, talking to other people. You have less exposure to typical stuff, and so you kind of develop sideways. Man, I was going somewhere with my conversation, and y'all interrupted me with the dono, and now I forgot something about the toasters. I had a point with it. I hate all of you. Nah.
The internet has more or less just allowed people to believe they are not abnormal, as it's allowed toaster lover 8 to see there's toaster lover B, Z.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there.
It's like that 4chan guy who developed an unhealthy attraction to bathroom tiles.
Oh my god, bathroom tile guy! Oh, he's a legend! Oh, what about Blowfly Girl? You guys remember Blowfly Girl? Or was that Botfly Girl? Is there a difference? Is there a difference between Blowfly and Botfly? Either way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should totally look it up. And once you're done looking it up, I have a bridge to sell you. Read the tale of Tile Fucker on stream. Honestly, is there a nice summarization? Why is there an IMDb page about the 4chan Tile Fucker? Did somebody make a recording?
Your toaster streusel has to come from somewhere.
That's horrible. The Freaky Files wild story of the 4chan Tile Fucker. Oh, the cast. Frankie Faye and Turkey Tile. Oh, they had an IMDb page for a YouTube video? Oh, that's garbage. Who makes an IMDb page for a YouTube video? Man, I feel cucked out of what I was almost assuming to be Kino content. I was about to pull up the Tile Fucker movie, and it got ripped out of my hands. I think I've said fuck about 4 times. But does it count as swearing if it's the title? If it's the name? If it's the proper name? Man, 6? 6? I have to put 6 coins in the swear jar! Oh, my life is a prison! You can't swear. Necro, we're trying a new thing. We're trying a new thing here.
Might as well look up the guy from Spain who died in a cave while flunking a chicken.
You know, we actually talked about that last stream. We did. We briefly brought it up. Or maybe it was 2 streams ago. Because somebody brought that up, and then I mentioned my own experience with, like, in the VTubing space with an early days male ASM artist who wanted me to quality check his work, and I found out that he was a massive freak and I hated him. Yeah, that chicken romancer, chicken chaser, the chicken chaser. You know, I'll call him I'll call him the chicken chaser. Yeah, no, blight upon society. You know, I would never generalize all male VTubers, but that's one male VTuber that I think needs to be 6 feet under. Can you say what he did to reference? Who is the target audience for that ASMR? Actually, this was the last time I ever properly talked to him, I think. Okay, so context. This wasn't a private DM. We were in a friend group in about 5 years ago, and he was getting into early VTuber ASMR stuff, and he hadn't done this kind of thing before, and he sent his audio to the friend group. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, we can give it a listen. Now, it was an NSFW audio where he evilly sexually exploited somebody trapped halfway through a chicken coop door, and then proceeded to pleasure himself with a chicken. Yeah, he wanted us to genuinely give him critique. I laughed at his face, and I told him that it was absurd, but in more colorful language. Interesting. Hi, Solicade! Yeah, that was the state of affairs years ago. I've been a lot more selective with who I let into my friend circle since then. Whips out beating stick. Thank you, Beavis. Is this loss of brains? Yes. I think the worst part about that audio that he sent us is that it wasn't even well done. Like, he was committing to the bit, but it wasn't even high quality.
Should have just stopped at the first half NGL. Can we get a swear jar dead counter like the USDT?
Okay, so last stream, a swear jar came into existence. Now, I have a physical one here, and I'm putting slips of paper in every time I catch myself saying a swear word. But I've reached out to management. I crawled to my boss and I went, boss, can we commission someone for custom CCS so I can have a swear jar on screen? And he was a little confused, but, you know, enthusiastic. Now, why, Katya? Why are you doing a swear jar? Why are you doing a swear jar? That's totally unnecessary. You don't need to. It's because I want to challenge myself. Not because I have to. Like, nobody's saying, you're not allowed to swear. Think of the children. No, I kind of want to upgrade. Yes? Because it's easy to swear, but it's not easy to not swear. For me, anyway, right? I default to swearing. It's kind of like how some people, you know, teach themselves a new instrument. I kind of want to increase my vocabulary. I want to swap out words that I typically use in a casual conversation with better ones. I feel like I will be happier for it. As well, I don't have to be scared of swearing in front of children now. Yes. To not swear is to improve vocabulary. I strive to sound as eccentric and posh as possible. Exactly! I want to be powerful, Chad. I want people to fear me. I want people to look at me and go, oh, what is she gonna say? I want people to be nervous. I want people to be intimidated by my immense vernacular. And once I'm done at the end of the day, saying my piece, I want to drop a swear word and scare everybody. I want to be able to say a swear and have everybody gasp.
SFW ASMR must end with whoops. I cockadoodle did.
I was villain monologuing here. Why would you ruin it with more chicken?
Kinda interesting how you remember this in detail.
Yeah, because it was
You
traumatizing.
Freaky stories like this. I'm kinda interested to know more. Dad joke, why was the car always tired? It had no brakes. No one is scared of eye candy boss.
Yeah, you want more distressing stories? I can give you one that's genuinely
Sorry, boss, but I'm
terrifying.
just too cute.
I'm not cute in the slightest. The first time I ever came into contact with any kind of sexual material, like anything NSFW, I was younger than 10. I was like maybe 7 or 8. And somebody on the internet, like this was like the time period where I was playing Neopets, right? And just casually finding early days anime episodes in multiple chunks on YouTube. I was also, you know, starting to talk to people, whatever. I was a kid, early internet. And I found somebody I thought was a friend, and they forwarded me the most heinous thing called My-chan's Daily Life. And I think it explains a lot about me as a person, that I read that
Give us your
as
medical life
one of my
and
very
silence
first
result.
like things. Just if you have a very delicate queasy stomach, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're a delicate creature, don't read it.
Space. I used to get upset against the bias against males, but holy shit have we earned it.
There's some freaky ass women. There are some horrible freaky women. Okay? Don't get it twisted. They're just better at hiding it, and they're better at obfuscating their crimes, and they're better at pinning it on guys, because guys typically just are easy to pin the blame on, easy to victimize, and just they also just have a harder time hiding when they do bad shit. I would say there's probably just as many bad women online as there are men, and just as many bad female VTubers. I'd say that some of the bad female VTubers out there are worse than the male VTubers, because the male VTubers have to live under the shadow of the reputation of the male VTuber, so they're a lot more nervous, and they're constantly being shone a light on. Whereas the female abusive VTuber often gets away with what she does, and then it's celebrated by the community after it comes to light anyway. Wouldn't say women are better at hiding it. Have you seen the romance novels? Oh god. I've never understood that freaky, strange, weird bestiality garbage. Anyway.
Baby in a blender. That brings back memories.
It's one of those things where you start reading it and when you're so, you have no idea what's going on, it's kind of like a train wreck. You can't look away. It's disturbing, distressing. Only at the very end, like, the baby in the blender was like the final couple of pages. Only then did it really like sink in what was going on. And I think that part was the genuinely most traumatizing part of that whole thing for me. Yeah, no. You say that they made a film based of My-chan's Daily? That's... Yeah, no, that's... no. Look, there's a reason why it's always ended up at the bottom of all those stupid YouTube scariest internet thing icebergs. Anyway, let's stop talking about that in chat. I'm putting a hard pin in that conversation, but you wanted another example of weird, freaky shit? There you go. I said another swear word. Man. Anyway, we go back to talking about my lack of experience with romance. That was more fun. Give us your most polite but savage insult. Well, okay, Thomas Smith. One that I've heard recently that I'm waiting to deploy is, you have a face for radio. Our unsay-so Oshi isn't say-so. I would say that in a stereotypical VTuber way, I'm very say-so. Because I'm not constantly draping my boobs over everything. But, that said, I'm not gonna knock the grift. You know? Some people genuinely enjoy making content like that, and others enjoy consuming it. It's just not my content. Besides, again, like the swearing thing. If I was overly sexual all the time, then if I wanted to look sexy, then it wouldn't ever have impact. Whereas, because I am, you know, stone cold Sigma and better than everyone else in the whole wide world, and I'm not, you know, classically sexy. I'm more like Tumblr sexy men sexy. Let's be real. When I do get all dolled up, hopefully, it has more of an impact. You have a face for VTubing. That's crazy! Gap Moe is peak. You want some Gap Moe? You want some Gap Moe? I love Pusheen. Like that gray little cat. I love Pusheen. I've loved the Pusheen stuff ever since it was like a web comic. Like early web comic. Here, I'll pull open Pusheen. Okay, I want you to look at this, hold on, where is it? I literally just saved it. I want to look at this cute little creature. If I could, I would have cute little outfits. I would have bags and stuff with this on it. I quite like cats. Cats are very sweet. What the fuck was that? Oh, Undying, this is a cat. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever seen one before, but this is a cat. What was that previous image with the severed head? Oh, you mean get your money up, not your funny up? I mean, this is important all on its own. The rival of Hello Kitty? No, because Hello Kitty is a corporate monolith that the worst people you know are into. I swear, the Sanrio characters... This is a controversial but true opinion, and anybody of character and moral standing will agree with me. Those that are a little too into the Sanrio characters are terrifying. Like, worse than any emo edgelord are the Sanrio girlies. I have never met a Sanrio girly that is safe. They're always some sort of very terrifying person on SSRIs that don't work. They're the kind of person that will suck you in and pretend that they love you and then destroy you. Like, they're like overly cute, they're very well dressed, they're very pretty, but they are the most toxic, terrifying motherfuckers. I have to put another coin in the swear jar. How's this a hot take? Because I know so many of them. I know many of them, and I know many of them are gonna be watching my VODs, and I'm gonna get raped. I'm gonna get raped by the Sanrio girlies for this. There's gonna be a clip on Twitter that's gonna go around, and they're gonna get me. They're gonna get me. I'm gonna die if you guys never see me again on stream. It's because the Sanrio girlies clipped what I just said. They came to the casino with a bludgeon and they bashed my skull in. What's a Sanrio? I'm slightly confused. So, okay, Sanrio is the brand that controls Hello Kitty and all of the other characters around Hello Kitty. Like a Cinema Roll is a Sanrio character. I know there's a very famous, cute, pink VTuber that, you know, drapes her entire life in Sanrio characters, so I can't really say too much more without insinuating that she might secretly be Minheta, because I have no proof besides the fact that she's a Sanrio girl, but, you know.
You said people who love LOTR tend to be religious. In 40K, people pick their army based on personality. It's such an investment that people shop around until they pick an army that expresses themselves.
Hold on. Talking about Lord of the Rings again? I'm trying to find the message. But yeah. I mean, typically people gravitate towards, you know, what they're familiar with. What they stand by morally. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody purposely engage with content on a base level that they don't entirely agree with. Though, there's something to be said about participating in social media and finding content that you like pieces of and changing your worldview to suit the rest of it. We kind of touched on that briefly the other stream.
All I know from Sanrio is a Gretsuko, which I love.
We found the Minheta, guys! We found the Minheta! We're not safe! We're not safe! We found the Sanrio chatter! You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me. Agretsuko is dope. I've never actually watched Agretsuko, but Agretsuko. From what I've heard, it's fine. And you know what? Baseline, I'm sure Hello Kitty and all that stuff is cute and great, you know? But people that are just a little too into it terrify me. Yeah. So many women are into violence these days. And I say this, like, objectively. Like, I say this as, like, an observation. Women are into horror movies, they're into horror books, horror games, and I find men are not so often into them anymore. Whereas I feel like maybe this wasn't historically the case. Can't prove it, but I feel like it didn't used to be that way. I'm sure women all throughout history have, you know, felt an attraction to dark and scary things. That's why witches existed, right? Like, they were willing to summon demons and devils because they're not like other girls. But, and to this day, you know? But, hell, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, right? Like, women have always liked darker things, but, like, has that always been the case? Or in modernity have women just become more inclined towards it? So I'm not gonna lie, I love that stuff. I love horror. I love horror movies. I love violent video games. I love splatterpunk novels. Although I feel like that's more informed by my exposure to the stuff early on, less than maybe natural inclination. But I feel like a lot of people just are more naturally inclined to be into it these days, and I don't understand. Is it like a survival instinct kind of thing? Like, guys are less likely to like that stuff because they've got a stronger survival? No, they don't have a stronger survival instinct. They'll put power lines into pools to try and turn on an electric fan. Maybe not an intelligence-based survival instinct, but like an inherent survival instinct. I'm not sure. This is where we get way past my pay grade, and all I can do is speculate. Kind of like I'm sitting in the back of a horse-drawn carriage, pop the back open, we're all sipping some mulled wine, and it's like, you know, everybody's drunk and it's a family function. Like, I can't actually give you anything here of substance. I'm just giving you drunken wine auntie thoughts and opinions here. But does that not feel kind of... It's kind of like how when you watch a horror movie, like, they usually kill the black guy off first, because if they don't, he is the one that tries to escape the fastest, and he pokes out the ghost the fastest, you know?
I think women's fascination with monsters and criminals is a sublimated desire for dominant men they're not allowed to admit they want.
Maybe partially. I'll never understand the fantasies. I barely understand myself at times. Yeah. Black guy says hell no on bullets. Yeah, no, typically in like horror scenarios, like, they've got the stronger survival instinct and they typically nope out of there. I feel like, as well, men typically in horror-based scenarios are more likely to go into fight rather than flight. And women are... I don't know how they would react in real life, but I know in every film they're absurdly, windingly roundabout, and they end up trapped due to their own inability to read the room contextually. I don't know. I feel like men have violent fantasies and women have violent desires. If that makes sense? I feel like there is a significant difference between fantasy and desire.
Even though you have knife ears, you still have the heart of a normal person.
Doofy? That's very nice of you to say, but, you know, I am a normal person and I don't have knife ears. Fuck you, bozo. I'm gonna be broke by the end of this stream. Every single soupa is just gonna be in the jar by the end of stream. Man. But no, violent fantasy is versus violent desire. I feel like violent fantasy is more of like an imagined scenario, whereas a desire is a genuine wish for something to happen. Like, every guy I've ever met, genuinely every single guy I've ever met has like explained to me their fantasy about dying in a violent fight, or being in a war, or bleeding out somewhere dramatic. Every guy has a bleed out spot. Chat, type below what your bleed out spot is. I want to know what you imagine your bleed out spot is, right?
You're normal, genuinely shocked.
Not, have you considered killing yourself today?
Here, this should cover a handful of swears.
You're very generous. Thank you for buying 10 swears. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I'm seeing chat filling with their bleed out spots. Like, and I actually think that's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. But women typically have more, like, desires. Like, they have more, like, they have fantasies as well, but the desires themselves are something that they more often act upon. They actually put themselves in more dangerous situations on purpose. Again, I don't speak with authority. Don't come for me, Twitter. But from observation. Now, I'm paranoid. I'm paranoid, and I'm a more evolved being, so I'm not like everyone else. I'm not like other women.
To be cuddled and
Lamo.
to be witnessed.
I'm not like all the others. I also have a bleed out spot. No. I'd like to understand, if that makes sense. Because you know what? If you know how others operate, they're easier to control. It's easier to invade a country when you know how the people tick. You see, when you see how people in a society operate, you see what goes on underneath, under the hood, you can more twist them. You can manipulate them. I, for one, think that baseline people's reactivity, especially in a polite society, knowing how they react, knowing what gets them going, is the ultimate form of power. Because you don't even need to do anything of extreme substance. You just need to put people in scenarios, and then they do what you want or what you need. My bleed out spot is inside a mecha during the last stand. Oh, that's peak. I'm not like other women. Okay, sword here. I hope that you get stuck in the chicken coop. Sword ear online. Shut up! How dare you be funnier than me on my own stream? I already have to deal with that enough in my own Discord. But on my stream? Sword ear. I'm not like every other woman, says every woman. Well, you see, I'm not like every other woman because I'm an evolved being. You see, I have half human blood, and the human blood is what makes me superior, by the way. Whereas most people are, you know, not like me.
Does anyone get the Dark Knight Joker vibes?
This is so stupid. You know, I love the Killing Joke, Joker. Like, I know that that's, like, basic person.
What about dart ears?
Dart ears. Oh, okay, we've got jokes. What's a good swap out for the word bitch? I'm not adding that to the jar, I'm asking. What's a good, because I'm trying to say basic B. Basic. Basic B. Basic for the average Joe. Here we go. Average Joe is a good, albeit slightly less potent version of Basic B. Yes, the average Joe. The Killing Joke is the average Joe's favorite Batman comic, typically, but I like it anyway, even if it makes me more of a normie than other people that, you know, pick media that makes them feel more special.
Long ear.
Basic broad. Hey, you broad. You broad. You broad the size of a barn.
Pedestrian Totsie.
I think you meant taste, right? Pedestrian taste. I feel like that isn't exactly an equivalent. I feel like that's a different
Star Wars:
position.
The Clone Wars solidified my die in battle fantasy from a young age. The clones' final stands were always peak.
Oh, Clone Wars was so great. I loved the prequels, specifically Episode 1 and Episode 3. But as I got older, Episode 3 became my standout favorite. But as a kid, I always wanted the purple lightsaber. I wanted Mace Windu's lightsaber so bad. You know what was great? You know what was peak YouTube? Chad Vader. Y'all ever watch Chad Vader? You could look it up right now, even. It was a parody of Star Wars. It was Darth Vader's younger or older brother. And he owns a supermarket. And the reason he's in the Darth Vader suit is because he was on a bicycle and he fell into a volcano riding to work one day. And it's like... it plays like an office drama, and it has like multiple seasons and like over 100 episodes on YouTube, and it's got musical numbers. That is my Roman Empire, thinking about Blame Society's Chad Vader. He even did like a parody of like a lot of the songs that were popular back then, like Chocolate Rain. And at the very end of Chad Vader, they had George Lucas come in. Like, I don't know, like, they don't make them like they used to, you know? Wasn't he the store manager? You know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Let me pull open Chad Vader. Oh man, I hope it's still up on YouTube. It is! Oh my gosh. Okay, from 2006 to 2012. Man, it was like really OG YouTube. Like, oh man. Oh man. YouTube went downhill the instant Chad Vader stopped airing. That's it. 2012. Nothing was real after Chad Vader ended. With the series finale of season 4, Chad Vader, internet was done. Never the same. Never good again. The internet was bad after that. Series older than me. WTF. I think you need to die. Ooh, it's even got its own Wikipedia page now. The whole series in one video, seasons 1 to 4. Yo, that exists? That's kind of crazy. 3 hours. 3 hours and 30 minutes. Huh. Man, this was peak cinema. It was shot like every one of those, Oh, and then there was Randy the mop guy who died and became a ghost. That was great. We used to be a real Blame Society. Sorry, nah, I'm just looking at Chad Vader now. They'd have lightsaber battles in like the vegetable aisle. Oh, there was the guy with the bucket hat who owned the actual market. Oh. No, I'm not gonna get into this. This is this is stupid. This is stupid. You ever see this Lego Star Wars Christmas fan stop motions? Those were great. I loved the Star Wars stop motion. I loved stop motion animations from the early 2000s. They had like a irreplaceable charm. I'm just going to turn off Chad Vader here. Again, example of a long-term personality, short-term physicality.
Ears so sharp that they could use them in Romania to kill vampires. I christen you Helsing ear.
I think vampires are fascinating. But I think Dullahans are slept on. I think as a fantasy creature that is equivalent to a vampire, Dullahans are slept on. Quite genuinely. They need to be in more horror films. They need to be in more romance films. Dullahans are an underappreciated monster, equivalent to a Grim Reaper. They are a type of Grim Reaper. Just different, you know? What is more heavy metal than a creature with a whip made out of a human spine? The fairy or the undead version? I mean, they kind of intersect. I don't think that they can really be separated from each other. They are the same thing. It is an undead fairy creature. So, the Dullahan in Celtic folklore is a Grim Reaper. It takes souls to the afterlife. If you see one, it'll also take you. And it can pop off its head. It's got a spine whip, a whip made out of a spine, and it rides in a horse carriage that is made out of human bones and stretched skin. I see your spine whip, and I raise you a fur cloak of a werewolf you personally slain in hand-to-hand combat. Oh, and Dullahans are allergic to gold, so if you shoot it full of gold bullets, it dies. Or if you stab it with gold. It's got like a gold allergy, like how vampires and werewolves have a silver allergy. Do you have a picture of the Dullahan so we could see a reference point of understanding? I mean, if you've ever watched anime, a non-traditional Dullahan is Kelty from Durarara. Instead of like a horse-drawn carriage, she has like a motorcycle and she can rip off her helmet head. That's more of like a modernized Dullahan. That's just like, the only thing is they pop off their head and they're a kind of ghost thing. Yeah. How's everyone feeling? Forgot her name. Yeah, it's Kelty. Kelty from Durarara.
Greater than MFW seduce the Dullahan but have a gold filling.
It's so over, boys. Can't make out with my Dullahan girlfriend. Would the rider from Sleepy Hollow be considered a Dullahan, or is that another thing? That's closer to the actual traditional Dullahan, yes. The rider from Sleepy Hollow is genuinely at least in modern memory, the closest we've seen to the original version of a Dullahan. I think werewolves are cooler than vampires. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, furry. Chat. Can everybody in chat type Jet Black is a furry? Jet Black Wings is a furry. Dullahans are fairies. In Celtic mythology, anything supernatural is a fairy. They're similar to the concept of Japanese yokai. Yeah, that's why I said that they're not separate. They're an intersection. Hey, wait a minute! It's what you deserve! Oh, shut up, robot meat. to my stream think that you're not gonna catch strays? Look, I love you guys. Truly. Deep in my heart of hearts. That's a lot of you, but I will harass every single one of you individually. It doesn't matter how fast the chat is moving. There will always be somebody there to take a bullet. I see it all. Miss Nee, well, I wasn't aiming for you. I was aiming for the furry. Yes. Now, it distresses me to think that some people have personas they find sexually attractive. Like, that people think Lola Bunny is genuinely a sex icon, or that they're really into, Zootopia. Like, the Disney movie, all the characters. Like, maybe I'm just, like, a buzzkill, but I've never been able to piece together what about it is, you know? Maybe it's just, again, the evolution of association and early childhood exposure. Maybe genuinely they were just looking at something at the wrong time, and when it happened to be the exact time that puberty hit, right? A lot of people say that Space Jam, they were a kid, and it was at the very beginning of puberty, Lola Bunny came on screen, and all of a sudden they were a furry, right? Guys, I think Hollywood is trying to artificially create furries. I think starting the 70s, Hollywood artificially is creating furries. This is a mass, hold on, this is a conspiracy. This is a mass movement to make the population not, repopulate with each other. They want people to be attracted to animals. They want people to skronk and copulate with animals so that no more new babies are born. This was the true antinatalist movement all along. It was the furries. Chat, how do we feel about this?
It was Disney's Robin Hood for me. Made Marion cute.
You're going to openly admit on main that you're a furry, Red Hair Cross? That's crazy. That's crazy! You're going to give me ammunition live on stream to bully you with? I better be careful, though, because maybe you're into that. Maybe you're into that. You know, chat, maybe he's giving me ammo because he's into that. I gotta be more mindful. I gotta be more mindful of these nasty, perverse individuals that are using me for their own nefarious purposes. Skin and tan him, boss? Yeah, skin and tan him! Okay, but the Squid Grandma villain in The Little Mermaid. D-Man, that just tells me that you don't have a good relationship with your mother. I'm gonna be entirely honest. That's not a furry thing. That's your mother's either dead or you need to call her or she beat you as a child kind of response. And I feel very bad for you. You have my sympathies.
I remember being a kid playing Sly Cooper and thinking, oh, they made the fox woman hot as a joke, like anyone would be into that. I never saw the appeal. I want to go back to those innocent times.
Well, you know what? I'll rag on furries till my face goes blue. At the end of the day, they're just trying to live their life. And you know what? Many of them are doctors, so I'm not gonna try and piss them off perpetually, because if I do that, one day they're gonna realize, while I'm under the knife for whatever surgery I need, that I'm the person that ragged on furries, and they're gonna, like, swap, my organs around, like that one scene in Kung Fu Panda, where Po is, like, on the stilts, and he's swapping around a billion bulls in front of the tiger. Many of them work in IT. Yeah, I gotta shut up. They're gonna shut my stream down. The furries and YouTube are gonna kill me. Just like how the furries of Twitch have already shut down Twitch. Crazy that Discord was started by open furries. Man, the more that you think about it, a lot of modern tech really is on the back of furries. They're furry backs. Need to sleep? Good night? Good night. Worse than furries, Katya. Cubfurries. Oh, bleh! Don't be grotesque. Don't be grotesque in my stream. I don't want to hear that garbage. If I was your surgeon, I'd live a little meme inside, you know? Like X was there. Yeah, just as a funny little prank. I'm gonna just a little itch a scritch on your bone. I'm gonna leave my username. Follow at username on twitter.com, inscribed into my bones. And then when the archaeologists dig up my very human body in 100,000 years, 100,000? Yeah, we'll be around that long, yeah.
Discord is very funny because they ban Lolly but are okay with Cub.
I don't want to get into the nasty intricacies of that particular political discourse today. I'm not mentally prepared to tackle that one. Most people aren't. Especially Europeans. Especially Europeans that play video games that have been out for 10 plus years and they get arrested for playing a video game that has no effect on any real person. I'm very nervous for Postal to relaunch, because it's either going to be absolute garbage and a waste of my time because it appeals to brand new censorship laws, or it's going to be perfect and beautiful, but YouTube's censorship laws are going to make it illegal for me to play. I'd really lose in all scenarios here. I mean, I'm still going to play it, though. Don't get it twisted, I've been looking forward to this game for ages. Katya going to jail stream. Katya going to jail ASMR. You'll never take me alive, you filthy Nicodans! You can't keep me on your bamboo bar prison cell! Man, you know, Dakota's crazy. We're doing our best to modernize, doing our best to de-heathenize, and the nobility in Chiron, just they keep... The corruption runs deep, you know? I can't go to a single one of those forsaken house parties without seeing a Nakotan slave that they bought. We really need to, like... I don't know, I feel bad for them. We need to liberate those people. We need to modernize them. We need to get them out of the subjugation, you know? If we turn them into proper Chironites, we give them education, and we, you know, teach them not to sell themselves to another country, you know. I feel like as the greater Chiron Empire, we could really do some good. Whatever, it is what it is. If they're gonna sell, somebody's gonna buy. back bullying, mother. It was never gone. I saw that Lost Paradise. I want to bully. What are we talking about? The Chiron Empire. You know, where I am. You know, you're in my casino right now. So, here in Faris, I'm a bit of a divisive individual. So I've got a very lovely casino here. But there's a few newcomers around, you know, a few new tunes. I own a very lovely casino in the heart of a silver mine, buried deep in Chiron. It's got the Empress Regent. She's got the Valor Bane. I don't know. How exactly does one explain what goes on around here without going into the entire world history? Yeah. Right now we're at odds with Nakota and the surrounding kingdoms. But, you know, as one does, we always come out on top. And we're doing our best to, you know, liberate those filthy savages from their nasty little piece of paradise. Any genocide campaign? Yeah, but perish the thought. Perish the thought. It's not genocide, it's re-education. I don't know what kind of Zeitin propaganda you're falling for, but, you know.
Noodle Ears has the best casino.
Noodle Ears? That's a new one. You know, some people here are new and they haven't seen the wheel.
What are you looking at?
We got bet on black and we got bet on red.
Oi, it stays between us, right?
It's the wheel. All right, I think I'm gonna bet on black today. What do you guys think? Usually I would bet on red, but I'm gonna bet on black today.
Oh shit, should have stopped earlier.
Young knight, remember what they say. 99% of gambler quit before they win big.
Alright, one more round. Double or nothing.
All right, who's rigging my wheel?
10 on black.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, this is some garbage. This is some garbage. Gotta stretch for a second. We've been going pretty strong for a while. Especially for a stream that's not had the strongest thread thematically, but, you know, we're just talking. We're just shooting the word that I don't have a replacement for right now. But yeah, no, our drug campaign's gone on pretty good so far. We've shipped a lot of Nakadite off to Nakota, and it's starting to infiltrate the streets as planned. Very excited to see the outcome. Already we're getting reports of, you know, increased unrest. Profits are on the rise. That's great. You give people a little bit of pain relief, and they run miles to get it. They sell houses to get it. They mortgage their children to get it. Crazy. Back to the bar. But Chaos Kiki, you wanna learn a little bit more about how things are here at the casino? In general, Variance has a webpage
You can catch up with us there. We've got an interactive map and everything. You can also, if you want the most up-to-date storytelling, you can always go to the Discord, the community Discord. If we have a mod drop those in chat, that would be lovely. Ever thought that you're the ones putting Nakotans in slavery? Now, the Nakotans are selling the slaves. We're only buying them, okay? If they weren't for sale, they wouldn't be bought in the first place. And I think that's more of a cultural issue with the Nakotans themselves. Nothing to do with us. I do think that the issue of having a society kind of running on slaves, it could be rectified a bit, but, nothing changes overnight. And I think we need to solve the root of the problem in the first place. And you know what? We pay our slaves well. We give them housing. We feed them. We're not cruel, horrible, well, most of us. I can't speak for all of us. I heard that, some pretty grisly things happen to dragonoids around here. But you know what? Who cares about them? They're not human, and subhumans don't deserve the same privileges that real humans do. Such as myself. You see, I may look this way, but I happen to be of premium breeding, of premium stock. My noble lineage allows me to see with clarity as to how we operate in this wonderful little world of ours. I almost missed my human father. But Ava? Yeah, what about Hawthorne? What about Hawthorne? She was a lovely little slave at one point. She belonged to some noble. Have you not seen the outrage she caused when she burnt down that mansion and she killed so many innocent people? Yes. Actually, if you check in the description down below on YouTube, you can find a link to her channel. You can actually see it in action. She recorded everything, like the narcissist she is. Watch Burn the Beast. You can watch her kill all of those very innocent poor Chiron nobles. I feel so bad for them. Well, not all of them. I mean, her owner was kind of a bastard. He owed me a lot of money. I was able to reclaim some of it, though, once he kicked it, so it's alright. She still owes me, though. Fatherless behavior detected? Only recently fatherless, I will have you know. I grew up with a very wonderful human father. My human father was the best. He taught me how to survive in this horrible society, in this awful world.
The way you talk about Nakotans makes think you'd really like the Outer Worlds too.
I started the Outer Worlds, but I've not touched Outer Worlds 2. I do feel bad for people with drug dependencies, though. Just typically. Drug or substance dependencies, it's a pretty dark, hard thing to get out of. You see so many people's lives ruined over it. You see people fall into holes that they didn't necessarily put themselves into, and they can't get back out. I don't know. As a child, I always thought drugs were so inaccessible, and it was so confusing to me. How could there be so many drug addicts if drugs are so expensive, if everybody spends their life savings on them? But as a child, one, underestimates severity that addiction can have.
I miss my father tales.
Shoot better. Aim better. Shoot again. You'll get him next time. Yeah. Honestly, I don't have an addictive personality, but I do tend to fall into patternistic behavior. So, I don't know. I've been cutting alcohol out of my diet significantly for health reasons. When it's like special or holidays, I'm sure that I'm gonna allow myself to drink, but in general, it's best not to best not to, you know, test your product, so to speak. It's kind of why I don't do a ton of gambling here at the casino. I can proudly say, though, that I've never, ever tried weed. No. You know why? Because I'm better than every single one of you. I am morally superior. I am physically superior. I am, theoretically sexually superior. I am superior in every single way. You see, I'm intellectually superior. I'm taller than all of you. I have better taste in music, better taste in anime, and books. I like books. Do you like books? I didn't think so. You terminally online, brain-rotted pieces of shit. I'm better. Be better. And stop smoking weed.
Aw, dang it.
What's 5 divided by 0? Then shut the sideways rutabaga. Calm yourself. You're so emotional. You're acting a little like a woman. Calm your womanly emotions, Chad. You're so irrational. You should be more like me. Unbothered. You like romanticy? No. Don't mansplain my womanly emotion. You like Heroes Redo, your opinion is immediately null. I will have you know that redo of Healer is peak fiction, okay? I'm not gonna hear any of it. It's not about the strangely bizarre pornographic rape fantasy that goes on there. No, it's about the journey they go on. It's about the revenge. It's about the anger. It's about the waifu designs. It's so much more than just guy is abused and then he goes back in time and he re-abuses all his abusers who have no idea who he exists. You know, it's so much deeper than that. It takes a true intellectual to understand Rick and Morty.
Better taste in music, and she covered Vivzie Slop.
You got me there. You got me there. There's no coming back from openly admitting to like anything Vivzie Pop. But I'll have you know that even a connoisseur of fine delicacies is allowed to have junk food once in a while. How can you tell the gems from the glass if you don't experience both? Yes? I'm sure that some of you really like your McDonald's. But does that mean that you turn down a filet mignon? I wouldn't think so. No. It's all situational, you see. And because you have one, you can appreciate the other. So just because I like Vivzie Slop doesn't mean that I don't have good taste. I have incredible, exquisite taste even. You're all just jealous of me. I enjoy my trash. It helps me appreciate the peak. Exactly! You get what I'm saying. This is where a foul mouth came from. Actually, no. Unironically, I think falling into the Vivzie Pop rabbit hole is done the opposite to me. Like, the more I watch that kind of content, like, the more swearing just isn't appealing to me. Because they drop swears every couple of seconds, and it's just like, it loses all shine, all glimmer, all edge, and it is so normalized that it's boring. It's boring and it's immature. Like, I don't have fun watching that particular thing. I like the story beats, and the thing about things like Has-Been is that they've got, like, the skeleton of a good story, and half the appeal is just imagining a better story on top of that skeleton. But watching content like that recently has really made me self-reflect and go, you know, maybe I don't want to swear all that much, because as much as I'm enjoying this trash content, I don't want people to look at me the same way that I look at this, you know? I want people to see me through different eyes. I want people to, you know, appreciate me for the Kino that I am.
Best part of Redo of Healer was the protag putting the head of one of his abusers on a female body, letting him get ganged.
You're so right. You're so right. It's therapeutic, you see. Redo is therapeutic. Oops. Oh, what? Oh, hold on. What's going on? Why is my model freaking out? There we go. Should you get a swear jar? Vivid, we got a swear jar here, and I've got like 20 slips of paper in there already. If I imagine the story being better, it's actually one of my favorite things. That's basically 100% the appeal of anything Vivzy Pop related. I'm gonna be so real. I mean, it's probably like why Hideo Kojima really likes it. Hideo Kojima really likes Has-Been Hotel for some reason. Yeah, the Hideo Kojima. The guy who likes Pecora. So, you know, if he likes it, there has to be a reason. And my theory is he likes it the same reason I like it, is because it's got themes, it's got good visuals, and it's got characters that have a ton of potential. It is a skeleton for a very good story. It's just strangely underdeveloped and immature. And so it's more fun to imagine what it could be than actually watch it. I will say I like the music numbers. I think the Broadway music numbers are probably my favorite part, because I'm gonna admit it, I'm a bit of a theater kid. I love musical theater. Again, it's garbage, but I like it.
Watching a yapper makes me feel like I have ADHD.
Listen here, you little nitwit. Maybe you just have ADHD. Have you taken your SSRIs today? Have a cup of coffee. It'll help you calm down. Alright, maybe I really shouldn't be torturing people, or they're all gonna leave. I don't know what's worse between knowing Kojima likes Has-Been Hotel or how you pronounce his first name. What the funny censor sound effect, Katya? Do you not know Japanese? Do I look like I know Japanese? Do you think in the Chiron Empire we have a use for, like, the Japanese language? Come on now. I may be a weeb, but I'm not gonna pretend to be the purveyor of all culture. I am not a polyglot. I know some very, very basic French, and Yilvish was my second language growing up because I have a Yilvish mother. But no. My native language will always be Imperial Standard. Now, when I did my Earth studies, I really liked the idea of the French. They're just funny little people. Fake weeb, I'll have you know. I'll have you know that I have a Pomu account on DL site. I'm not a fake weeb. Now, if only, you know, they would like lift the geographical constrictions they put in because of the 4chan raids, that would be nice. I really don't want to have to go back to using VPNs.
You can use Japanese in the Empire like how AI Vader describes the use of Spanish.
If I used Japanese in the Empire, nobody would understand. They'd look at me like I had horns growing out of my head. They'd look at me like I was like I was Hawthorne or something. It's not pronounced Hideo, it's Hideo. It's worse than your mispronunciation of nuclear. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce nuclear. It's nuclear. A discount dryad? I'm not a... Where would you get dryad from in this situation? Use Russian instead. I have no actual, like... Okay. I cannot conjugate, but I can very loosely understand some Ukrainian. And I can sing it, but I cannot speak it. That is as far as my baseline human Slavic knowledge goes. Not allowed to talk about government conspiracies if you're not going to pronounce nuclear correctly. How else do you pronounce nuclear? That's how you pronounce it! The flower decoration makes me look dryad-y. Dryad-y. I'll have you know that this flower pays for half the casino. This little bad boy is how I get all my information. Nuclear. Yeah, nuclear.
Your pronunciation there is almost as bad as Kirish's. It's endearingly hearted.
I'm not even gonna justify that with a response. You're saying nuclear, not nuclear. Now you're just confusing me because you're all saying the exact same thing. Nuclear. You know what? I'm just gonna give up on that particular one because you guys are just confusing me further. A collab between you two would go pretty hard. I am keeping my collabs to a minimum at this point in time because it's just so hard to schedule with people. And in general, it's hard to find somebody that I could talk to without scaring them. Or without, you know, them scaring me. Life is funny. Katya can sing Ukrainian. Can we hear it? If you just want to hear a bunch of Ukrainian Earth Christmas carols, because that's what you're gonna get. Or hello, Auntie Haunty. How's my favorite spooky ghost doing? Hello, pretty lady. Whom might you be? Why, hello, Nyog, the Eldritch Gentleman. I happen to be Katya Sable of Variance Projects Chapter 1 Equilibrium, and I own a casino, and, I'm going to kill you. This isn't a bit. So anyway, I started blasting. I only just thought to check to see if the background sound was on. Hold on. Okay, good. My background music's on. Wasn't hearing any from the speakers in the casino corners. I was freaking out. Another one. I left the room and I heard a gunshot. WTF. Look, I'm trying to keep rent in this neighborhood down, okay? Look, I'm doing my best, okay? It's my responsibility as a landowner to keep things reasonable for my tenants. And by tenants, I mean the whores I keep employed on the 3rd floor. Does the word whore matter for the swear jar rules? Because that's... I guess that would be considered a slur. Not a swear, but a slur. Do slurs count as swear words for the swear jar? What are the rules of the swear jar? Like, can I say whore? Yes, it's not ladylike. Ah! Dag. Damn it! Only if you mean it. I always mean it. Are we including the N-word? We're not including Necro amongst there, okay? Just because he's a filthy, disgusting clipper doesn't mean that he's jar-worthy. I prefer harlots. Oh, that's a good one! Wait. My 3rd floor harlots. I think that has a nice ring to it. I don't know what you think. But I think calling them my 3rd floor, my starlit harlots. Wait, that's got marketing potential. I gotta write this down somewhere. Where's my boss? Starlit harlot. Your boss? I thought you were the boss. Everybody's got to report to somebody. Trollop is good too. I'm not going to remember Trollop.
Trollop is good too.
Look, I may own the casino, but I didn't get it myself,
Katya gives
especially
a
after the
pass on
fire.
one considering at her institution it's just a job title.
True, but I feel like Starlit Harlot is kind of fun. It rhymes. It rolls off the tongue really well. The 3rd floor temptresses. The ladies of the night. The slovenly trolls of or wanton wenches. Alright, now we're just coming up with fun nicknames for them. Courtesan. Oh. I think that's more befitting of the standard we're trying to carry in the Empire. I think courtesan is a good one. The juggalos. The 3rd floor clowns. You'd have to be a clown to work here willingly. That's why I'm glad to say that nobody here is here willingly. I have no stupid people on staff. I have a highly intelligent crew of indentured servants. Once they pay off their tabs, they're free to do whatever they want. But until then. Why are you pronouncing it that way? What is wrong with you? Pronouncing what? Indentured servant? The lotless. Nah, Joseph, you're wrong for that. You're viled for that. Vile. Concubine. Which is like, you're vile for that. Courtesans were more high-class, intelligent social ladies to keep company. Yeah, and I feel like that reflects my casino 3rd floor very well. The courtesans that I have, yes. The indentured servant courtesans.
Of Katya has a boss, did you forget Pipsqueak?
Pipsqueak is not my boss, I will have you know. Pipsqueak is lucky to be alive. Like, look at this little guy. He's got nothing going on in there. And you know what? He deserves no rights. No, you deserve no rights.
They need to rise up.
My courtesans. They don't need to rise up. They're the only ones getting medical leave. Come on now. It can't be given to people who are trying to blackmail STDs. Pronouncing it like they're a wellspring. I have it's san, not cian or cian. I feel like you guys are pulling my leg. The real star of the night has appeared. Real star of the night has appeared. Show that misericord ear off the scene. What do you mean the real stars appear? Stop feeding his ego. Great, you've got him yapping again. Shut up! Good.
I would follow Pipsqueak into hell if he but asked me. I would follow Katya into McDonald's if she was paying.
What kind of garbage double standard is this? What kind of garbage double standard is this? I pay you! You're lucky you're not gonna be alive! You have a roof over your head because of me? You get food? I usually don't shoot you? Come on now, you ungracious slime balls. Are you listening to the... you hearing this garbage? You hearing this garbage? Yeah, what do you think? Oh, the heck! You know, there's a warm place on the second circle of hell for you.
Courtesan is
Get out of my bar!
middle dot to middle dot zn, my dear.
Chat, we need to unionize. Courtesan. It's courtesan, not courtesan. Courtesan, isn't that the added cheese? Hold on. How to pronounce... Alright, let's see what pronounce says. The initial core sounds like core, without the R colored vowel heavy. The T is quick sha or shortet, and then ending sans, pronounced as sans, with a long say sound. Think courtesans. Okay,
Courtesans.
courtesans. So it's kind of like a mix. Courtesans. Courtesans. Okay. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. These whores that I keep as slaves are. Relax, boss. You need a strong hot oil massage. That just sounds like a thinly veiled fetish. Dear cat, you must learn that chat is always right. That is malarkey. That is malarkey, and you know it. You guys aren't always right. You know why? Because chat reflects the streamer, and, you know, I am a humble, honest businesswoman, and I can admit that I'm not always right. And so if I'm not always right, you guys are definitely not always right. I love you, Katya Sable of Variance Project. Please take me as your next horse and gamble on me till I've repaid all my debts to you, my queen. Sylvie, you disturb me. You freak me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I think you should stick with the pirate ship, if I'm going to be entirely honest. You know, I've got a pirate that you can chill with, okay? I feel like you'd get along with him. Get away from me, you freak of nature. I can match your freak. I don't want to match your freak. I don't want to match your freak. Get away from me, you disgusting, vile woman. It's always the women. You see, the men never treat me this way. The men are always treating me like they're gentlemen. The women, on the other hand, only see me as a sex object. Honestly, it's too much to bear sometimes. It's quite the burden on my shoulders. So if I'm an advocate for imperial conquest and stripping stupid people of the rights to protect my country's well-being, what does that make you? Makes me Katya Sable of Variance Project's Chapter 1 Equilibrium. Not us, you're just a regular object! Woman's wrongs. You guys are vile, vile, insipid little creatures. That snort. Latin? Are you trying to translate my laughter? What are you? Twitter? Twitter's weird Google Grok translate function? You made us this way with Pennywise. That's true. You guys are a little bit sadistic. Or no, masochistic? Masochistic is when you like it when I shoot you. You see, I'm not sadistic. I am nothing if not a kind, generous mistress. I only do what the people command. Now, who am I to deny somebody if the pleasure of me shooting them in the skull? Why does your gun have a slot machine? How does that work? Well, I'll have you know that Pennywise here is actually sentient. He does what he wants. Typically, we tend to agree on things, even though he's very racist and he doesn't like me. He doesn't like me because of my my disability of having pointed ears. But, you know, when we can agree, he does what I want. Now, when the slots line up to 777 and I shoot somebody, they become a toon. Which is to say, their bodies get scrambled like little eggs and they become rats. And you're stuck here until I shoot you again that time. Pennyworth can also shoot real bullets. He also shoots fire. He also shoots water. He shoots really anything that he wants. He can even shoot a little flag that says bang if he wants. He shoots out pellets that explode. But it all depends on how he's feeling. He's kind of been going on strike recently and he's only popping off random bullets once in a while. It's the benefit of an Arcana Stone is that you never actually have to reload it, but man, he's got such an attitude. He keeps whining that I won't put the notebook on. Like, I get it that you're actually Ryan Gosling, but I don't care, okay? I'm not putting on the notebook again. Garbage movie. Can he shoot merch? I mean, probably. He hasn't yet, but I don't doubt it. When can I be human again, boss? When you pay off your debt. Get me information worth selling, and then we can talk about your contract. Finally, a woman that doesn't like the Notebook. You see, I'm not a woman. I'm an evolved being. I'm an evolved creature. I am a master of all females. Woman is so reductive. It's got so many associations, but female is a powerful term, you see. And I am nothing if not an incredibly powerful female human. Anyway, I think I've actually got my hands on some technology that'll allow you guys to actually hear him finally. I know that you guys have been wanting to do an interview with Pennyworth for a while. You can't hear him right now, but he's spewing some very racist epithets at me. It's quite offensive, really. He really doesn't like me. But I'm hoping after Hyper Japan, happening around in a couple of days. Sorry, there's a convention that I'm going to be guesting at. We're going to actually have a one-on-one interview with Pennyworth. I've got a speaker that'll allow you guys to talk to him finally. I'll open a marshmallow and you guys can ask him whatever questions you want. Does it hurt your jaw when you smile like that? Smile like what? This is just how I am, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Female is just a fancy way of saying Iron Man. Faye equals iron.
You know, I always thought Tony Stark had some rather womanly emotions that he subscribed to. Does this mean that we can get a raise? Well, are you getting me any blackmail worth selling? Like, come on now. We may be a casino, but the real money's in the information, and you know this. How am I supposed to be an asset to the Empire if I can't blackmail? Are these tunes involuntary, or they have chosen to become like that? When you become a toon, you don't have a choice. I have decided this for you. No, those who work at the casino. So, typically, to be employed at my casino, it's not really a choice. Everybody that works under me currently is under contract. So, they are ex-patrons of the casino. They've gotten to, like, insurmountable amounts of debt that they cannot possibly fulfill. Now, at that point, I take them to my office and we go through a little bit of an interview, and I discover what they are best suited for. Are they suited to become a third-floor harlot? Typically, those are the ones that are very sexually appealing and are disease-free. And if I have a slot on the third floor?
Katya, you can't buy blackmails anymore. That was outlawed.
All right. Put a pin in it, Red Hair Across. We're not here to cause myself trouble. And in general, tone it. Now, we enslave women to be sexual objects for money. If they are, if the indebted person has other skill sets, like let's say they're very strong, sturdy, and scary, they can become enforcers for the casino. So kind of like bouncers or hitmen. You can do floor work if you're very good, like with culinary. You can also bartend. You can work the floor, or if you've got none of those skill sets and you're a useless, pathetic tripe, then I shoot you, and you become a little rat. And then, you ironically become the most important part of this operation. You become my little ears, eyes, and mouthpieces. You're sent off on missions, the most dangerous ones. You scuttle all around Chiron and you collect information from me. You give it back to me, and that's how you clear your debt. Regular casino employees pay off their debt just with, time-based servitude. But toons are in a unique position where the better the information you get me, the faster your debt is paid off, but it's also more dangerous.
So Epstein Island, but with extra steps.
Yes. No, because there's no children here. I'll have you know, I only have the most premium of blackmailable whores. Harlots. I do not consent to this silliness, plus I don't gamble. Did you really have a choice? I can also just shoot you if I don't like you. Like, who's stopping me? The only thing stopping me is, well, his attitude. The only thing stopping me is if the gun wants to work. Harlot is such a pretty word, honestly. It's kind of like Scarlet, you know? And Scarlet is a beautiful name. I think Scarlet is actually a lovely name. You know, if I was a different person and I was capable of having heirs, if I was able of conceiving heirs, I'd probably use a name like Scarlet. Scarlet Sableton would be a very lovely name. Don't you agree? If I ever had heirs to take over my operation, I wouldn't want them to inherit the Sable name. There's too much baggage there, and I think the name needs to die with my brother, because I'm gonna be so honest. It's a bad name. But, you know, Sableton taking over the Sabletons casino and everything that I've built up, I think that's a very nice legacy. Oh well. Kumu Cotton! Welcome on in! My goodness! It's lovely seeing you here! That toggle scared me. I thought I hallucinated. What? What do you mean? This is just how I normally look. You're breaking my heart, dear. My dear sweet. Why'd you throw shade at my brother? He burnt down the house! He killed everybody! I'm gonna throw as much shade as I can before I desecrate him in front of the entire empire. I don't know what you're on about. Never break it again, Katya. I look forward to sinking hearts with you, Kumu. Very excited for your debut. Until next time I'm all in on red. Have a next one. Have a good one. Zoragachi. I loved watching yours. You watched mine. Ooh. I hope you watched the fixed version where the sound wasn't broken. My debut months ago was so scuffed. It was crazy. Didn't help that I had like a head injury, but you know. There are 3 ads on YouTube now. What are you talking about, Lost Paradise? Literally triple ads on YouTube. This is new to me. Somebody gift that man a sub! Actually, wait, you can't do individual gifting here.
Incestuous fantasies about your brother to yourself, boss.
I'll have you know the only bad perverted fantasies I have are not related to that in the slightest. I will have you know that limb loss is a very tasteful... I can't be making that joke because I know the bartender's watching me right now. Nothing happened on Katya Sable. Nothing ever happens, guys. Nothing ever happens. Alright. I think it's about time to drop, because we're gonna... Nothing ever happens. Chat, can we get a nothing ever happens? I'm gonna set up a stream for a raid. Remember our raid message. It's rats, rats, we're the rats. Oh, it looks like Fido's live. And so is Obake. Here, I'll send you to Fido. It's very rare that we can catch her these days, so I'd be remiss to miss this. Alright. Thank you for joining me today in the casino. It was a very chill day. I'm sorry about the lack of streams this week. Typically, I'm very consistent with my schedule, but it's been a bit hectic, and I was very sick for the last few days. I was so scared I was gonna wake up with no voice today. Like, I was wheezing through some recordings yesterday. Anyway. Get out of here! Aw, man. Aw, man, this shit blows. Man, this jar is gonna be the death of